Ladies and my peeps, I'm Elusive Del and this is the Holiday Survival Snowball Launcher Showcase. Following the obligatory fortnight grind and after completing the Festival of the Nights mission, you'll be gifted with this cheeky little schematic, the Snowball Launcher. As with all special event weapons, the perks are fixed and you won't be able to find this one in Alarma following the event. And speaking of perks, this one's got an interesting setup. But let's take a little look at the gun first and see how she stacks up against the competition. The Snowball Launcher has only one direct comparable weapon in the standard artillery, the legendary Thumper grenade launcher. Indeed, the base stats are identical other than the Snowball Launcher's apparent range deficit, where the Thumper is effective up to a range of 512, the Snowball Launcher falls short at only 256, so not a great start. However, is where the perks come in that this launcher starts to really make sense. Perks. With significant reload speed perks totaling 37.5% and a 30 shot durability, a single launcher is capable of dumping its load rapidly. Couple this with 15% flat damage, 10% water damage and a 30% damage perk to slowed and snared targets, and it's starting to look a little more spicy. But it's the level 25 perk that sets the Snowball Launcher apart, Water Snare, snaring the target by 30% for 6 seconds. So what does this mean in the field? Well, it means that those tankier mist monsters can be locked down and glued to a point under rapid snowball fire, leaving them exposed and vulnerable to teammates' snare damage effect weapons, which, let's face it, are otherwise the majority of the time useless weapon perks. And in its own perk set, the Snowball Launcher has an additional 30% damage to snared targets, offering a significant damage boost. As these are fixed perks, your launcher is guaranteed to provide the same results in combat. There are no direct explosive weapon hero perks available at present, other than a few non-specific range damage perks. So what you're getting out of the box is pretty much what's to be expected in the field. I have to say though, damage is mediocre for an explosive weapon. At level 30 compared to the Dambuster, the most powerful explosive option, it doesn't compare, falling drastically short on both damage and impact. However, unlike the Dambuster, the Snowball Launcher is able to offload multiple rounds in a few seconds with a 6-round capacity and relatively swift reload speed, particularly if playing as a soldier class hero with a quick clip perk. But shot for shot, considering the 30-round capacity as opposed to the Dambuster's 15, it falls short. A full magazine burst from the Dambuster is both more powerful and offers more impact. So what's the point in it? As an explosive option, it's not the most powerful, it doesn't offer the most impact, and value for money isn't great either considering the full magazine damage and impact deficits. So what's the point in the Snowball Launcher? Well, it has two main uses that set it apart from the competition: wave clear in a pinch and snaring targets. It may not be the most efficient means to do so, but if you've got the craftable items to burn and don't mind tearing your way through a few snowballs in a pinch, mini-mob waves can be easily dispatched and knocked around. Unlike its explosive rocket launcher alternatives, the Snowball Launcher carries a multi-shot 6-round capacity, meaning a few well-positioned shots can clear a mob quickly and efficiently, without the reload panic of a launcher. It won't kill everything in one hit though, it will generally take a couple of shots to clear even low-level mobs, and being a water-based gun, it's useless against nature elementals. I must admit, I feel like it should be a little more powerful than it is, at least enough juice to consistently clear appropriately ranked low levels with one hit. But it's not essential, low level mobs can be cleared quickly at the expense of an additional few rounds. So it will wave clear, but I think there are better options available. A Freedom's Herald with good perks or even a damage buff Thumper from the standard artillery. And from the event weapons, the relatively rapid fire Trash Cannon or Jackal Launcher are all better options for wave clear. But where the Snowball Launcher really comes into its own is snaring and knocking back targets. There are a few guns in the game that will consistently knock back the tankier mist monsters, number one being the Dambuster. But unlike the Dambuster and other explosive options, the Snowball Launcher will snare targets more often than not, leaving them exposed as opposed to knocking the target back and out of the battle. There is also the additional benefit of a multi-shot magazine, meaning if you miss a shot, you don't have to worry about a long reload and the possibility of that smasher annihilating your base, since you can quickly re-aim and spray your snowy load all over that mist monster's face. What this means, in a nutshell, is a panic-free means to deal with mist monsters, easily being able to take them out of a fight at short to mid-range. If the smasher's in sight, peppering them will quickly and efficiently snare the target, and continuing to spray and pray will lock the target to the spot. It's not a high DPS gun, so ideally your teammates will be paying attention and switch to the snared target in battle. But if not, the additional 30% damage to snared targets will help dispose of that smasher quickly and panic free, knowing once you've hit them and knocked them down, they're not getting back up again. Is it worth investing in? Well, this is the golden question. As a niche weapon ideally suited to snaring larger targets and semi-useful as a wave clearer, is it worth investing in? Well, personally, I don't think so. If you have an explosive launcher alternative in your artillery, particularly with energy damage and high knockback, I find these options more useful. If you're lucky enough to own a dambuster with good perks, then like me, you'll know it will knock a smasher back into next week, taking the threat out of the fight. It's more high risk, since if you miss your shot or it doesn't knock back on the first hit, you can leave yourself exposed. But that's a risk I'm prepared to take. Although the snowball launcher is great for knocking back your average laser eyes, husky husk or flinger, it won't knock back a smasher, at least not very far. But it is much more likely to lock them down. If your team are on point, they'll spot this and take advantage. But let's face it, in the heat of battle, not everyone's always paying attention, and thus overall, I see the knockback effect of a heavy launcher a much more useful option. So there we have it guys, the snowball launcher. I must admit it's a fun gun to play with and can really help you out in a pinch. But for me, it doesn't quite cut the mustard in terms of knockback or raw damage. But if you have committed to this one, let me know how you've got on with it in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video guys. Apologies to my regular viewers for not getting this one out sooner, but I've been manic with Christmas and New Year's, but I'm back on it now. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more snowball in your face action. And until next time, GG, well played, and laters fam. Laters.